Hi and welcome back. We're talking now about student success, and in particular how student success could be helpful in the context of teaching your DE class. So just as we do in a face-to-face class, our work in a DE class should always include some sort of focus on student success. We might generally say that student success refers to all the ways in which our students achieve their educational and life goals. A lot of variation in what that might mean, but there is a focus there on some sense of progression or advancement in their lives or careers. We often do speak of persistence and retention as part and parcel of student success. In short, this means a student who takes a class in one term, say in the fall term, persists, or we retain them into the winter and the spring terms. And it's really a big push now as we move towards our Promise program to hopefully retain more students because dropout rates are such a concern. As you can see here, they're staggering, really, dropout rates. The Promise program that we launched in 2019 really emphasizes the idea that if they have more points of connection with our campus, with our faculty, with student ambassadors, through social media updates, through a specific Promise success class that introduces them to the college, that their success is going to go up. And I think it's really something we want to model in our DE classes. We shouldn't think of our DE classes as existing in a vacuum such that you teach the class and it's totally disconnected from everything else at LTCC, whether it's student services, student housing, our efforts in equity, our efforts to connect students to general education, whatever. So we're really trying to expand on this idea of reaching out beyond our very specific focus within our DE class. Your students' personal success goals, of course, will vary. These are some of the examples of what students are looking for: a degree, a certificate, job skills, some form of personal enrichment. And it's going to vary from class to class, from student to student, and certainly the discipline that you teach. If you teach in real estate or criminal justice, there's likely a very specific end in mind, and it might be temporally, in terms of time, a much sooner happening in terms of their success goal versus someone who wants to be an English teacher at a university, which is going to take many more years after their AA, BA, and so forth. So the goals will vary, but we just need to focus on the general idea of student success. So here's a bit of a tip specific to our DE classes. So if you notice after reviewing grades in one of your classes that a particular student is struggling, reach out to him or her and inquire about how you can help. DE courses could sometimes be quiet in terms of our students not reaching out to us. As a result, we have to initiate that contact. And that's really key, to say that our students maybe won't connect with us, so we have a real opportunity there to reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed you haven't been turning in your papers, or you missed the first 2 quizzes. What's happening with you? Do what we call an early alert intervention in that student's life, and then that might be an opportunity to bring them back into the fold in terms of their student success and their goals in your class and their work in your class. Here's another tip. If you don't hold DE office hours, and this will vary from faculty member to faculty member, so reach out if you have any questions about this, consider ways of increasing student to instructor contact, which is such a core of what we're doing with DE education and the specific CVC-OEI grant in 2019. Every teaching touch point is an opportunity that a student can experience more connection to the college. It could be to student services, it could be to another program, it could be to the equity program on campus, the food pantry, and so forth. So in the world of branding, they talk about touch points. So every brand, there's an opportunity, if you go into a store or even go to an online retailer, that touch of the brand, the smell of it, how it feels, their experience of it in a store or in a space, really then relates to them finding a connection with that brand. And the same thing can be said then of education. So if we create more touch points within our DE class such that students will be able to reach out to student services, take advantage in some sort of online version of a traditional campus event, then that's an opportunity for them to not fall through the cracks, kind of to parallel what we're doing with our Promise program. So think about that opportunity and many other opportunities out there. And at this point, you can continue to your next block.